With football around the corner, time to start building up that bankroll. And we want to help by slashing the cost of all daily picks packages priced at $25 or more, including 5% best bets through the end of July. This amazing promotion runs from Tuesday, July 12th to midnight on Sunday, July 31st, and drops the pricing down to $25 daily packages for $12.50, 29 daily combo packages for $14.50, and $35 5% best bets for $17.50. But even better, this is the perfect time to take advantage of our one-day all-access pass. This package locks in the handicapper of your choice for one whole day for only $39, including when they have a 5% top play that usually sells for $35. But during our 50% slash promotion, you get a one-day all-access for only $19.50. We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not, the premier sports betting information provider in North America. Our special discount pricing goes live on Tuesday, runs through the end of the month, does not require a coupon, and is available just by going to your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo Handicappers homepage right now.
I am live. Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. The smiley guy, Teddy covers. Don't be fooled. Me, Lawrence Presman, the Prez, and you're watching WagerTalk Today, the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Teddy, I hurt myself last night playing hockey. I didn't know pulling your glutes was a thing, but I can barely sit while doing this show. Have you ever pulled your glute?
Not any time that I can remember, but then again, I don't play any hockey, Prez. You're the hockey guy of the two of us. So as you get to, what are you, 50 now? You're close?
53, bro.
Yeah, exactly. As you go post 50, dude, like the little thing that didn't bother you, now it bothers you. The little thing that bothered you, now you're like, oh, I can't sit. I got a glute injury. You know, get used to it is all I'm going to say.
Great show today, man. Adam Trigger going to start right at the beginning with us. He's going to look at the Tigers, Padres, Rangers, Mariners. Tony Mejia had to cancel. He was on daddy duty, and I respect that. Steve Merrill stepping in for him, very late minute notice. He's going to talk Cardinals, Blue Jays, Yankees, and Mets. Of course, your big game breakdown and Art DiCesare after that. My brother, what did we learn last night in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Well, I mean, post All-Star break, it's a whole new season in MLB in some ways. But, you know, a clear break between first half and second half. And you want to pay real close attention to what teams are doing out of the All-Star break. The Giants, an easy fade. They're 0-6 now out of the break. They were nearly $2 favorites last night. The A's won again yesterday. They're a completely different team right now than they were 3 weeks ago. The Cubs, 5-0 since the break, a completely different team than they were 3 weeks ago. And let's not forget, the markets are looking at season-long stats. Savvy bettors should be paying very close attention to current form over the back half of the MLB campaign. And certainly right now, yeah, it's the back half of the campaign, but it's the beginning of the back half of the campaign. There's money to be made riding current form in MLB right now. That stood out to me last night, Prez. What about you?
Well, first, Teddy, nice blazer, man. Is that number 2, another new one?
Yes, sir. I expect you to recognize all the new ones that I got because I don't pay any attention, but thank you.
Yeah. It's looking good. I love the color. I love the color. You look great, man. Anyway, I lost my 5% play last night, Teddy. I was on the Philadelphia Phillies. Man, I've had 2 5% plays in baseball this year, and I've lost them both. The first one, heartbreaker. I was actually with Adam Trigger that night, winning right till the bottom of the 9th, but last night I was out of it early. You know, is it like, you know how upset I get at these 5% losers? I can't handle losing them. Like I literally can't. I literally pulled my own damn glute. It's frustrating though when you make, I don't know what, 15x sales on a 5% play as you did the day before or the next day on a 4% play. I'm talking 15x. Guys out there, man. 5% play, good play, strong play. Look, 61% over the last 3 years, but it's only 1% higher than a 4% play. The world is not falling down, Teddy.
I'm glad you feel that way, because sometimes when you lose a 5% play, you feel like the world is falling down about you. And this is the truth of what we do, Prez, all right? This is a 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year business, all right? I just took a couple weeks off, and it's really hard to do that. You have to time it for over the All-Star break, There's inevitably going to be wins and losses with the strongest selections. You've been running good on those for several years. I've been running good on them for more than a year now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they all win. Doesn't mean they all win. But, yeah, it's frustrating when you're on the wrong side of one of those. Sorry you came up short last night. I didn't have a great night either, unfortunately. I went 1-2, but the one that cashed was a nice big plus price dog, so it mitigated some of the pain.
Nice. Adam Trigger joining us. Ad, how did you do last night, brother?
Last night went good for me. I had the Orioles plus 1.5. So I felt like I was going to get there regardless, but they rallied in the bottom of the 8th, actually won the game. So they keep that team, man, that they just keep finding ways. I think they were getting out hit in that game last night, 11-2 at one point, and it was still a 1-run game, and they just found a way, which is kind of what they've been doing the last couple of weeks. So they're certainly been a fun team to watch. I think Teddy's going to talk about them later in the show, so I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, go ahead, Teddy.
I said I am going to talk about him later in the show, and you probably already know what side of that game I'm going to be on if you followed my big game breakdown yesterday. Prez?
There you go. Adam, let's get into it, man. You were talking 2 games today. You're looking at the Tigers and the Padres. San Diego, Darvish on the mound, minus 140, a total of 7. How are we betting this game?
Yeah, so this is an early start. This one goes at the top of the hour here, and every time Yu Darvish comes around and his turn in the rotation, I can't help but look at the home road splits and let that sort of guide my decision making. Darvish this year at home, 5-1 in 9 starts, a 1.94 ERA. Opponents hitting 163 against him, or 167. I can't read my handwriting right now, but the point is, he is dominant at Petco Park this year. He goes on the road. He's got a 4.75 ERA, but what even more telling is the 257 batting average. You're talking almost 90 points higher on the road. That's a huge disparity. So, and for someone that's as big of a name as Yu Darvish on a team like the Padres, which tend to be a little bit overpriced. I don't know if I want to say overpriced, but they're usually taking some money from the betting market. That's something I got to look to fade because I think I'm going to be getting a good price going against those road splits. I don't know that they're correctly baked into the line. Looking at this series in general, Tigers win big the first in game 1 on Monday. Last night, they were right in the game. They lose an extra inning, so they've been competitive in this series, and they're going to send Tariq Skubal to the mound here, who's a guy that I've really liked for a couple of years now. He was struggling for a bit, but he tossed 6 shutout innings last time out against the A's, which tells me that maybe he's sort of, getting things figured out. And if you look at his season-long numbers, 3.88 ERA, 1.17 WHIP, it's pretty good. He's been solid. And this is a guy that I've really liked since he's come into the league. The Tigers at home, 24-27, much better than what their overall record would say. So they've played better at home than they have on the road this season. And the sort of the hidden value with the Tigers this year has been the bullpen. A 3.09 ERA. They've had a top 5 bullpen in the league in most metrics for the majority of the season. So, seeing the Tigers here at plus money at home, knowing that, Darvish has been a little bit overvalued on the road, I'd have to look at the underdog here. I like the Tigers getting the plus money at home in this day game.
So I certainly have no hesitation in looking at San Diego with Darvish on the road and saying this is a team I want to fade. I'm with you conceptually right there, 100%. And the Padres are a team in general right now. There's something there's something dicey with San Diego's internal chemistry. They just don't feel right. So I'm looking. I like you. I'm looking for spots to fade the Padres. The problem that I have in this game is Detroit. I mean, Detroit hasn't shown any signs of coming around. What are they, 2-8 in their last 10? The lineup's still hit or miss on any given night, mostly miss. And Skubal, who was an ace earlier in the season, I mean, the Tigers are 2-6 in his last 8 trips to the Hill. They're not winning for their ace, and he's being priced like an ace. Does that concern you here in the matchup against the Padres?
I mean, so Teddy, like I always, I'll tell you if I come on the show and give out a play and it's a play that I'm giving to my clients, I always give it out. So it definitely concerns me enough where this didn't make my client card. With that being said, if I was going to bet that what I really was hoping for in this game was that +1.5 price to be lower, because I would have loved the run head start here with the Tigers if it was like -125 or -130. But the books win here, right? Like they made it correct. They got it right. -145 or +1.5 is a little too pricey for me. And maybe that +120 isn't enough value. Maybe you'd be looking for +130, +135, or +140, given what you just said. But if I was going to get involved in this game, and this was on sort of my short list for today, I'm impressed with what the Tigers have done so far in the series. I still think there's a little plus regression coming for the Tigers. This is a team that I thought was going to be far more competitive this season, going into the season, than they have been. So that's the way I would look here in this day game. I still think the Tigers, just from the fact that I really don't want to bet on Darvish on the road, the Tigers would be the right side at plus money. So we'll call it a lean, but I do lean toward the Tigers, and maybe make a +1 out of it. Maybe play half your bet on the money line, half your bet on the run line, and call it a +1 if you're worried about the Tigers losing the close game.
Adam Trigger joining us, everyone. That Tigers game starts in exactly 1 hour, so if you're going to bet it soon. Adam, Texas playing Seattle, the road team, the Rangers, -120. The total in this game is 8. What do we do here?
So just to update you guys, I haven't been stepping in front of the Mariners like I was a couple weeks ago. Although I did end up getting out with a win eventually out of that. But, they took some money from me during that lengthy win streak prior to the All-Star break. With that being said, I do like the Rangers here. I think this is a really good spot for the Rangers to avoid a sweep. I brought it up on this show on First Pitch. Those short favorites to avoid a sweep have been really good in Major League Baseball this year. And that's what you're getting with Texas in the -110, -115 range. John Gray, since June 1st, 6-2 with a 2.34 ERA. That's over 10 starts. And, he got hit around by the Mariners earlier this year, but he went on the DL a day later. So he was pitching through an injury there. I think that's a little bit deceiving and maybe not taken into consideration in the number here. Marco Gonzalez, guys, he's a guy that's a hard fade for me. I think he's one of the worst starting pitchers. Not the worst. Let's call him one of the most overvalued starting pitchers in the majors. He's got one of the lowest strikeout rates, and that 3.74 ERA and 1.39 WHIP is incredibly deceiving, given the hard contact and the low strikeout rate for Gonzalez. He's tied for the American League lead in losses with 10. Again, that's not surprising to me. And he has a 5.09 ERA against the Rangers this year. They'll now be seeing him for the 4th time. So I think the Rangers have a nice advantage with Gray on the mound, and the Rangers have another sneaky bullpen that's been kind of hovering around the top 10 this season. And you're also you should see no Seawald for the Mariners tonight. He blew the game. He blew the save last night. The Mariners eventually come back to get the win, but he's now pitched back-to-back days. So that's something that would concern me for the Mariners here. So I think the Rangers salvage one here. I think they avoid the sweep. Short favorite. Has been good in this role, -110, -115. I like the Rangers.
Now, the markets are real hot on John Gray, and deservedly so. Off to back-to-back gems his last 2 outings, 13 innings of work, 5 hits, 0 runs, only 2 walks during that span. He's been dynamite, but really he's been dynamite for the better part of the last 2 months. We're talking about a Rangers team, a sub-500 Rangers team that is 7-1 in his last 8 trips to the Hill. So I certainly understand the market support for Texas's road chalk here. But Seattle just keeps winning, man. I mean, you said it at the top of the show or at the top of your analysis. You're like, I lost money fading this team. I got some of it back, but Seattle hasn't been a team that's been real good for me to fade. And I'm with you. I mean, the Mariners made me money during that nice stretch. Why do you think that today's the day to fade Seattle? Is it simply let's look to avoid the sweep, or is this Mariners team a squad that you think maybe we can make some money betting against?
Teddy, I still think there's some regression in the Mariners' future, but like as you said, they found ways to win games. Even I had a 5% play on them against them with the Astros on Friday night, so this past Friday night, and even then, in a game that the Astros were pretty much dominant throughout, the Mariners managed to get themselves in a bases loaded situation and still had a great chance to get back in that game. So they really do find ways to win. They do it again last night. So it's got to give you some hesitation betting against the Mariners. With that being said, again, I haven't totally ruled this one out from being a client play yet. So watch first pitch. I'm on first pitch today, and I'll circle back on this game then. It's a 3:40 start. But I have a pretty strong lean toward the Rangers here. Marco Gonzalez is just such a hard fade for me right now, and I really do like Gray. And with Seawold out, I think the Rangers have a little bullpen advantage here. So I guess I'm willing to and as I referenced, the small, short favorites to avoid a sweep this year have been money in Major League Baseball. So I add all that up, and it looks like a good spot to take the Rangers. I guess I'll leave it at this. I certainly wouldn't be – if you wanted to bet the Mariners in this series, I think you missed your chance. So it's got to be Rangers or nothing for me in this game.
There you go. Adam Trigger, what do you got going for the clients? Anything to promote? You're coming down to the meet and greet. We're going to hang out with you. You're bringing your awesome woman, Mallory. What else? What am I missing?
Yeah, I'll be at the meet and greet, so come hang with us in Vegas. Prez, I pulled a calf muscle playing basketball a few weeks back, and you're right, man. The muscle pulls are no fun. Even like that was a pretty painful thing. I'm still like kind of just getting back from it. So I think I'm gonna golf when we're in Vegas and not play hoop. But I've got a 5% play tonight, Major League Baseball. I'm on a 6-1 5% play run. I've hit 3 MLB games in a row. It's been a great baseball season so far. So that one goes tonight. I'm on first pitch with Drew Martin and Ariel Epstein in about an hour. We're going to give out a whole bunch of info on that show as well. So check us out there. And come to Vegas. Come to Vegas and hang out. My flights down suck, Prez. I've got layovers. I'm flying at a red eye one night, but the picking is slim when you fly out of Albany, New York. So you kind of got to take what they give you. But I'll get down there one way or the other.
There you go. Adam Trigger, everyone. Teddy Gordon Mathers wishes us a happy anniversary. Guys, it is season 3, show 2. Teddy is on a mission to smile more this year. Right, Teddy? Smile more?
Yes. Yes, I am, Lawrence.
I know. And Teddy, here's the problem. Yesterday you did your what did we learn? And you're like, I'm not going to be as confrontational. When we argue, I'm going to smile more, except I feel like you're laying a challenge down, dude. Like, I feel like now I just want to, annoy you.
When we come back, Teddy's big game breakdown. And then Steve Merrill and Art DiCesare from the Westgate Superbook right here in Las Vegas. We'll be right back after this brief commercial message.
With football around the corner, time to start building up that bankroll. And we want to help by slashing the cost of all daily picks packages priced at $25 or more, including 5% best bets through the end of July. This amazing promotion runs from Tuesday, July 12th to midnight on Sunday, July 31st, and drops the pricing down to $25 daily packages for $12.50, $29 daily combo packages for $14.50, and $35 5% best bets for $17.50. But even better, this is the perfect time to take advantage of our one-day all-access pass. This package locks in the handicapper of your choice for one whole day for only $39, including when they have a 5% top play that usually sells for $35. But during our 50% slash promotion, you get a one-day all-access for only $19.50. We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not, the premier sports betting information provider in North America. Our special discount pricing goes live on Tuesday, runs through the end of the month, does not require a coupon, and is available just by going to your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo Handicappers homepage right now.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk about the Rays and the Orioles. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We talked about Baltimore yesterday on the show. No hesitation talking about Baltimore again today, right here on the show. Look at the WagerTalk live on screen. We have seen a little bit of Orioles money. They were minus 120 overnight. Now it's more like minus 110, minus 115. Sorry, for Tampa Bay as road chalk. The money has come for Baltimore as short home dogs. Total, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, sitting at 8 right now. So what did I say yesterday in the big game breakdown? The Rays are ice cold. They're still ice cold. The bullpen's failing them. It's still failing them. The lineup's not hitting at all. It's still not hitting at all. And boy, what a demoralizing loss last night. You know, your ace, your all-star, your streak stopper throws a gem, and the lead's gone 5 minutes after the bullpen gets involved. Truly a demoralizing loss. What else did I say yesterday? The Orioles were 1-18 against the Rays last year. Now they're 7-4 the last 11. All 7 of those winners coming at a plus price. They have taken Tampa Bay very seriously. And, I mean, the Orioles bullpen's the biggest surprise in baseball. It's better than Tampa's. Baltimore continues to be the most profitable team in baseball. So what are we going to do today? Let's see. It's Drew Rasmussen, who has 0 quality starts on the road this year. And we have Tyler Wells for Baltimore, right? And Wells is a guy who got bombed last time out, gave up 5 runs at the end of the Yankees. But prior to that, he hadn't allowed more than 3 runs in 17 consecutive starts. And the markets don't love Wells because the strikeout to walk ratio isn't what they like. It's he's not a guy who strikes out a ton of hitters. And that leads to him being an undervalued commodity right now. He's pitched to contact with very much success. This is a no-brainer, all right? Let's ride Baltimore. Let's fade Tampa. Get even money price. Count me in. Give me the Orioles to beat the Rays again on Wednesday night. There's your big game break. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers. Teddy, yesterday we asked the listeners to put up some suggestions for our show moving forward, where I've started season 3. Guys, I say it again. If you got any suggestions on what you would like to see or how you think we can make this show better, please put it up. Put it up in the comment section after the show goes onto YouTube. Eric Chang wants more Asian baseball. And he'd also like Dan to host more shows. Dan, are you there?
Joey's working today.
Dan's on vacation. Well, there you go. So there you go. Well, Joe, is Dan going to be hosting more shows coming this fall? Yes. Eric, Dan will be hosting more shows coming this fall. Teddy, will there be more Asian baseball on this show?
This fall? Probably not. Yeah. I'll take the under on it. And we got a couple of real good Asian baseball guys, but baseball season is baseball season. And football season is football season. And when it comes to football season, Asian baseball does not get a lot of airtime. Apologize. There's only, we can do a 3-hour show every day, but I'm not going to do it. Let's do a 45-minute show every day.
Listen, I mean, me and you had a meeting. We were going to do Aussie rules football, Canadian lacrosse, Chinese ping pong, or Asian baseball. And then we just decided to stick with the American sports. Teddy Gordon Mathers, who's one of our best listeners, he wants more strategy. He feels like we should have a segment on strategy. One of the examples he used was that he learned from us in the show that if a line is -2, take the money line. We showed the math. Ralph brought a chart. How do we bring in more strategy into the show?
So one of the things that we do on the show, there's 2 factors. One, is certainly when you have your database guys come on. We always ask them for database stuff. And Ralph Michaels at the top of that list. He brings up some great strategy concepts that we talk about on the show every week. The other thing that we try to do is as we're breaking down games, and both our guests and my follow-up questions and all that, we try to talk about the key points behind those games, which is all about strategy, much less about matchups and much more about, the big picture type of handicapping philosophies or strategies. So it's not necessarily a segment, but it's something that's a piece of the analysis for just about every game we break down.
Yep.
Great suggestions,
and that's
guys.
well said. We kind of embed it inside of other conversations. But Gordon, Teddy and I will talk all fair. We'll try to figure something out. Steve Merrill, anything to add?
Yes, I saw those comments from Gordon as well, and I've got some ideas. And keep in mind, one of the other suggestions, which I like, is more weekend content. And I, of course, with the NFL season, have a college football and an NFL video every weekend. So I like those suggestions, and I'm definitely trying to do my part to add more content and big picture strategies here to the channel.
Yeah, and of course, Brian Nichols would like to see more dancing women. Teddy, can you organize that, please? You're in Las Vegas.
I had a friend from high school named Brian Nichols, and I hadn't thought of him in like 30 years. Hey,
He's
Brian,
back.
Maybe you're that. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe you're that guy.
Yeah.
DGen Woodworker wants more thoughts on Prez must give more thoughts on TV shows and sandwiches. So basically, you want Teddy to lose his shit. Speaking of which, if a friend came over last night, we were watching Tom Segura, his piece on 69ers. Steve, Teddy, if you go to YouTube, type it in. It is one of the greatest comedy bits you'll ever hear in your life. It's like 3.5 minutes long. It's worth listening to. Tom Segura on 69ers. Spectacular. Okay. Steven, Cardinals, Blue Jays. Blue Jays are on a 9-1 run in their last 10 games. Hottest team in baseball. Trying to give themselves some separation in this wild card hunt. But today they're a big favorite with Gausman on the mound. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, I thought there's some, we talk about big picture strategy stuff. I thought this was a very interesting game to talk about. There's numerous handicapping factors, both for the game and big picture in general. And first of all, you guys know I say don't try to catch those falling knives, whether it's be the plummeting stock market, Bitcoin, whatever, or sports, but also don't dodge those speeding bullets, right? And the Toronto Blue Jays are the hottest team in sports right now. And it's not a surprise. This is a team that, even in wild card contention, was still kind of underachieving for the first half of the season. So we knew there was potential for them to break out. A couple of weeks ago, Prez, we're doing the show here. As you know, the manager is fired. We thought that could be a spark. What happens? They go out and they lose. They also lost as the biggest favorite of the season a few weeks ago as a $4 favorite against Kansas City when half their team wasn't allowed over the border. But Toronto still has a lot of potential, and we're seeing that come here. And it's the offensive side especially. So not going to get in front of this team anytime soon. Instead of laying them on as 250, I think you're much better off laying the run line, as is often the case with big favorites. Minus 1.5, minus 120 is a much more reasonable price. And the Blue Jays, every win here since the All-Star break has been by margin, by 2 runs or more. They continue to win by margin. 7-run win, 4-run, 3, 23-run win. First game out of the break. So if you're going to play them, don't lay them minus 250. Lay them minus 1.5. Wouldn't talk you off the over as well. Very surprised. Have to check the lineups here to see who's in, but obviously 8. And I'll get Teddy's thought on this. Very low total. I mean, for the Blue Jays, it's a team that's routinely 9 or higher. As I mentioned, they had a 33-run game a few games ago. So not going to talk anybody off the over or the Blue Jays in this one. And the other thing I like about the over in Toronto is that Wainwright, and our producer in the studio, Joe Ranieri, and I talked about this last year in depth. Wainwright's always much weaker on the road than he is at home. He's pitched in the same stadium now for over 15 years with the Cardinals, and he is on the road today. So Blue Jays and over be the only way I play this one.
Yeah, so conceptually, I'm with you. In which we don't want St. Louis and we want Toronto. But from a price standpoint, especially with Gausman on the hill, Toronto is 2-6 in his last 8 starts. And I know he's pitched well of late, but they're not winning for him. And when you see a guy who's losing time and time again as a favorite, as a starter, does that concern you, even though his overall stats are real good?
Yeah, and that's another reason why I think you can hedge it with the over, right? The over 8 here because Toronto's just been red hot offensively. But if they don't get a great pitching outing, that's going to help the Cardinals get to the total as well. St. Louis has been pretty cold the last 2 games hitting the ball, but they were very strong over the weekend. So over 8 would be my top recommendation, but definitely not going to shy away from playing the Blue Jays. And I would recommend the -1.5. If you do, once again, you're only laying -120. So if Gosman is off, you're not laying that 2.5 to 1. You just can't play the money line here. I know people are going to probably tie it up in parlays and whatnot. I'd play run line and I'd play the over in this one.
Yeah, I mean, when you don't have Goldschmidt or Arenado in the lineup, it makes a big difference in what type of power you're going to have. And obviously, neither guy back, so neither guy in Canada for this series against the Blue Jays.
Steve, I got a quick question. You know, home favorites -1.5's a losing proposition, you know, from a conceptual perspective. We've spoken about the LA Dodgers. They're a team that if they win by margin. How do you decide that Toronto or which particular team, how do you decide how to buck that trend of home teams on the run line?
Well, first, blindly say it's not a good play because that's been, a 1.5 run line home favorite. It's going to have double, the juice is going to be cut. Look at this one. It's -250 down to -120. That's a 230-cent adjustment just because you have to lay an extra run. If that's a road favorite, it's only like a 50-cent adjustment maybe. So
Right.
it's priced in long term. But what Prez is saying for newer viewers is that obviously it's easier for road teams to win by more than one because they don't have the walk-off one-run win in the bottom of the ninth like a home team might have. That's the difference, basically, is the bottom of the ninth. And what I'd like to look for, Prez, is good offensive teams. Dodgers, Blue Jays, Yankees. These are all teams that have been good -1.5 run line teams for the most part this year. And it makes sense because obviously if you're scoring more runs, the one-run win is less likely than in a very tight, 3-2 game or something. So Toronto checks those boxes for me. And by the way, 31-19 at home, 23-24 on the road. Not a coincidence, as Teddy just mentioned, more players once again can't play because of crossing the border, just like we saw the other week with Kansas City. So the Blue Jays have been a very strong home team as well this year.
Yeah, and when you're talking about a run line scenario, Prez, and even a straight up scenario, Ralph Michaels came on and showed us real clear the $2 favorites in baseball have been the only profitable favorites when you look at them long term over the last 3 years, both straight up and on the run line. So laying the 1.5 with the home favorites based on Ralph Michaels' database data has been not just profitable, very profitable in recent seasons. So whether it's the home team or the road team, the $2 favorite, $2 or bigger favorites have been money makers in MLB. And the wise guys don't like to play a lot of them. So sometimes they hold their value.
Steve, let's move on to the next game. The Yankees finally came down to earth, 4-6 in their last 10 games. A Subway Series going on. They're playing the Mets. Where are we going here?
Yeah, just to put in perspective, how, by the way, didn't want to talk the Dodger game again because we did it yesterday. That's an afternoon game, but the Nationals did win outright again as a big dog last night. So once again, that's a remarkable angle, like you said, Prez. Dodgers either lose outright as a big favorite or they win by 2 or more. And once again, Nationals 2 back-to-back big dog wins. We'll see what happens this afternoon. This is an interesting game to talk about, though. Probably the best game of the night, Yankees-Mets. Yankees will not have a very good pitcher on the mound, though. And this is probably the biggest dog you're going to see them all year unless they maybe sit everybody in September, which could happen because even going just 4-6, as you mentioned, their last 10, even with the Blue Jays going 9-1, including 7 straight, Yankees are still 11.5 games ahead of Toronto. Toronto has the 3rd best record in the American League. So that's how far ahead the Yankees are. I do think we've started to see them take their foot off the gas, maybe not intentionally, but just subconsciously. It's just going to happen. And you would think they'd be focused for the big series against the Mets. So I'm not going to lay this big of a price against the best team theoretically in baseball, but I will look at the over in this game. Even though the Yankees haven't been winning too much recently, they're just 2-4 their last 6. They have put up 33 hits in those last 3 games, and they've put up 12 runs. So they're still hitting the ball pretty good. They're always a power team, and the Mets are crushing the ball. 22 hits, 14 runs the last 2 games on Sunday, and then last night on Tuesday, 6 runs on 10 hits. So good offensive form for the Mets. Yankees in decent offensive form. And this is a low total once again. Teddy, 7.5, especially with a bad Yankee starter on the mound. I think this total should be higher. I like the over.
Steve Merrill, great work, brother. What do you got to promote? And then we got to get Art DiCesare on the show.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing Art talk some college football. It's right around the corner. Real quick, we missed our 5% play last night. Look, we're fully transparent at WagerTalk.com. I had the Rays. Teddy just mentioned he likes the Orioles. It was a tough beat, though. McClanahan, the starter, goes 7 innings, gives up 2 hits. Baltimore starter goes 5 innings, gives up 10 hits. You told me that ahead of time, it would have been a 6% play. 1/3 of an inning in the bullpen made the difference. The point is, don't take a short-term one-game perspective. I hate when people do that. We're still on a 67% baseball run the last 2 weeks. So this was an offer that was in the bonus package yesterday, and most people just want the $2 play, but the smart people took advantage of the rest of the MLB season for $2.99. I'm going to make it available to everybody now here. $2.99 gets you the rest of the season. It's normally $500. That's every baseball play every day, including all the 5% plays, World Series, everything for just $2.99. But you got to have promo code MLB299, MLB299. More information on my page right now, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com.
Steve, thanks for stepping in today. Tony Mejia was ready to go, but he had a daddy situation, had to be a dad. And we're all dads, so we get it. Get out of here, brother.
No
Art DiCesare, man, I missed you. It's been a long time. How are you, my friend? Nice salmon shirt.
What's up, gentlemen? Good morning. And by the way, congratulations on year 3.
Well, thanks, dude. I'll tell you, Art,
came on the under. Yeah.
Well, they lost
the year 3,
Teddy. So that was smart money making a dumb bet. I'll tell you though, there was smart money on the run line too, Teddy. As in, the show will go on, just not with you. But they were wrong on that too, because I want to do this show with you, Teddy, and I'm going to speak on behalf of you. You want to do this show with me. Art, man, we got a big party going on at your place soon. I can't thank you enough, man, for helping us put this together. Just incredible. I mean, we got 100 rooms at the Westgate. I'm curious how many of them are already taken.
Yeah, guys, this is going to be a big celebration. Obviously, the celebration we had in March was wonderful, but I think everybody really gets geared up for football. So, having this a couple of weeks before the NFL and basically the week before college football starts, I mean, this is what we all live for. And this is, the best part of the year when we get into the football season. And I think this, event in August is going to be even better than the one in March. So I think a lot of people are fired up for it. I've even had people come in the book and be like, hey, we're looking forward to this event. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so I just know the buzz, not only on social media, from all the Wager Talk guys and all the listeners, but even the people who come into the Westgate on a daily basis, they've been talking about it. So really, really looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun.
Art DiCesare, a risk management supervisor over at the Westgate Race and Sportsbook right here in Las Vegas. Of course, you can follow him on Twitter at ArtDice21. He is an excellent follow on Twitter. And if you want good info from a legit Vegas odds maker, Art DiCesare is a guy you can get it from, again, at ArtDice21 on Twitter. So let's get into it, my friend. The Westgate Superbook has posted a whole bunch of college football numbers over the last couple of weeks. And you can see the graphics right here. You were nice enough to send them over yesterday so the guys could graphic them up. Let's start with this. What lines do you have available right now? What markets are you taking action? And then we'll talk about some of the popular bets in early college football betting action. But let's start with you telling us some of the offerings that Westgate has available right now at the world famous Superbook.
Yeah, absolutely, Teddy. As I texted you the other day about a little bit over a week ago, we put out our conference odds. So every conference that you can imagine to win the conference. We did all the over-unders for all Division I teams. And then we did about 200 games of the year. That starts basically from week 2 all the way to the end of the season, because we've had the week lines out for a while now. So about 200 games of the year. So we have a whole nice betting platter now of college football to go with all the NFL stuff we have. So, when the college football stuff comes out, you really know football is approaching.
Sure. And again, like when I get back from my vacation, football is approaching. When preseason starts, football is here. So you're preaching to the choir on the concept, let's get to the window early and let's do our research early to take advantage of some of these numbers. So let's go through them one at a time. We have season wins, we have conference odds, we have games of the year. Let's start with the odds to win the conference. That's the one you talked about first. When it comes to the first bets, all right, the guys who are betting in July, they're not amateurs. Okay. This is the definition of sharp money. Who are we seeing the sharp money like in some of these odds to win the conference matchups that you have at the Westgate?
So right now, the real one that I can say has taken sharp money and has actually moved a little bit, because once again, these numbers are pretty fresh, like I said, about a week old. So some stuff has trickled in, but, not a lot of movement yet. But in the Pac-12, Oregon, we opened Oregon at plus 400. We've seen some sharp money come in. We now have Oregon just a little bit over $3, plus 325. So sharp money's coming on Oregon, has moved that number down a little bit. And, this is one just to make note of because it's the biggest and most popular conference, and we are a loser on it, and it has nothing to do with sharp money. It's a lot of public money, people taking a chance. A&M at 18-1 to win the SEC has attracted a lot of money from the public so far. So that is the big public play in the SEC, A&M at 18-1.
So Oregon and A&M both taking early money. And you talk about like this period in July, because here we are, it's late July, and you and I both, this is not the busiest time of the year for the sports book. When do these numbers really start to move? Is it just, it trickles and then it's kind of becomes a stream and then it kind of becomes a flow as August rolls around? Or if people want to get the best of the number, is this run to the window? Is this, well, try to do it by the first or second week of August? When do these numbers really start to get popped?
I just think it depends on the conference, Teddy, and what these, what the public wants to bet or what the sharps want to bet. Once again, with the numbers being so fresh, like a week old, I think in the next week or two, they'll really start to cook. I mean, like you said, I know it's not the NFL, but we have a preseason NFL game in a week. So maybe the wheels start turning for people that football is back. They see football on their TV. Then, they listen to a show like this. They get on Twitter and they realize that, oh my God, okay, Westgate has these numbers out. Let me see what's available. So I think, the first week, a couple people dive in, but it's kind of a slow crawl. I think here in the next couple weeks, you'll really see people start to make investments. And, to tie back to what we were talking about earlier about, the Westgate event in August, I think with so many people around that weekend, you'll really see a lot of people coming to the window and betting. So, I think even by that time, you'll really see the market start to form, but even maybe a week or two before that.
Oh, yeah. By third week of August, well, some of the numbers that are available right now, you'll never see again this season. We talked about odds to win conferences. Now let's talk about season wins. And you talked about how the action's been fairly light the first week. Does anything stand out when it comes to college football season wins? And real important, talk about how the season wins get graded when it comes to conference championship games and bowl games. Those don't count when it comes to season wins, correct? Or the conference championship games do?
No, and I'm glad you put that out there, Teddy, because it's very important. And listen, guys, it's like anything. Any sports book you go into, whether it's the Westgate or another sports book, always read the stipulations at the bottom of the sheet. They're going to let you know everything you need to know, so there should be no confusion. But you're absolutely right. Bowl games, conference championships will not count. These are regular season wins. And, me saying there wasn't a lot of movement on conference odds, the over-unders take a lot of movement early. They just, people get in on those right away. And there's actually two public ones I can throw out there and two sharp ones I can throw out there. The two public teams so far, Arizona State over 5.5. There's been some good money on that. We've moved the juice from, flat minus 110 to over minus 125 on the 5.5. And Michigan State over 7.5. We were plus 130 on the over. And now we're minus 110 on the over. So some good public money's coming on Michigan State. And the two sharp ones, Missouri under 6. We had Missouri basically flat, -110, -115 to the under. Now it's -150 to the under 6. Appalachian State under 9. We had +120 on the under. Now we're -120 on the under. So the Missouri under and the App State under have been the sharp ones we've seen movement on so far. And right now, we're just moving juice. We haven't moved off a half a game or a game yet because the numbers are so fresh. So you're just going to see the juice. But in the next week or two, some of these totals could be tweaked to half a game or a game. So, keep your eye out on that for games to start moving the numbers, not just the juice.
We got just a few minutes left here with Arthur DiCesare, risk manager over at the Westgate Superbook here in Las Vegas. Art, I do want to ask you about the 200-plus games of the year. And a lot of times when bettors come in to bet those games of the year, they're going to bet one team, either on or against one team, multiple times throughout the course of the season. Are we seeing any of that? Is there this team, someone coming in and saying this team's overvalued or this team's undervalued? And have you seen any significant action with the games of the year yet? Anything stand out to you from the earliest betting at the Westgate Superbook?
Yeah, that's a good point, Teddy. You're right. When you see a bettor come in and look at those 200 games, they might just focus on one team and bet 3 or 4 of those games. And I've seen that with Michigan State, a team that I mentioned in the totals, and Alabama. Obviously, all the Alabama numbers are very high. So, perfect example, Alabama plays at LSU on November 5th. We opened that game Alabama -23.5. It's now Alabama -19.5. So LSU money has come in. That's moved that number 4 points. So you've seen good movement there. One of the Michigan State games to throw out there, week 3, September 17th. They go to Washington State. They were getting +1, a short road dog. They're now a short road favorite, -1.5 for Michigan State at Washington.
Art DiCesare. Art, next week you come on. I'd like to get into the NFL, some division bets, conference bets, etc. Before we let you go, I want to just ask about the Baltimore Ravens because Teddy and I live in this world where we just hear, you got your ear on the ground. And I'm hearing a lot of people are liking the Baltimore Ravens to win their division at +160. No respect for Cincinnati at +190. But really the bet that I just keep hearing over and over and over again is this Baltimore team at +160 to win the division. Are you taking bets on this? Any thoughts on this specific division?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting division. Obviously, like you said, the Bengals are the defending AFC champs. They're obviously going to get a lot of love with Burrow. Cleveland's a mess. Who knows with them? And obviously Pittsburgh kind of in flux and in a rebuild. But Baltimore is definitely taking money. And just, I know this is a popular bet and not really a sharp market, but even the Super Bowl odds on the Ravens. We opened the Ravens 20-1. They're now 14-1. So people have been happy to take the Ravens to win the Super Bowl as well. So I think people expect the Ravens to bounce back. People like Lamar. They kind of had a weird year last year. They lost a lot of late games going for 2 points. I think people like Harbaugh as a coach. And I think they think the division is open and a winnable division, especially if you think Cincinnati takes a little step back and they overachieved last year. So, I don't think there's any question that people are into the Ravens on a lot of things, over win total, Super Bowl, Lamar to win MVP. I think the Ravens are a very popular pick.
And with the pro Baltimore, again, remember, before Lamar got hurt and the Ravens ended the season on, a 5-game losing streak, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC at the time when Jackson got hurt. So the markets are certainly looking at that. But it really looks like as much pro Baltimore is out there, there's a lot of sharp money anti-Cincinnati. Is that just Super Bowl loser curse, or the market's seeing something more on the Bengals that I'm missing? Because to me, on paper, the Bengals look better than they did last year.
Yeah, Teddy, I agree with you. They do look better. I think that's part of it, right? I think that's the old adage. You go to the Super Bowl, you lose, you have like a bad year the next year. A lot of teams miss the playoffs. So I think it's that. But I also think the anti-Cincinnati is the Baltimore love. I think, like you said, Baltimore was the 1 seed. Then they had a weird end of that year. Lamar wasn't right, and they just did not end the season well. And this was a team, I think, not obviously not last year, but the year before, I think they were the 1 seed in the AFC. The year Lamar was the MVP. So it's just, this is a really good team and a really good organization. So I think step back for Cincinnati and a bump up for Baltimore is a way not only the public bettors are looking at it, but the sharp bettors as well.
Art DiCesare, awesome. We love having you on. You are normally on Mondays. You are now on Wednesdays moving forward. Art, organize a special bet for our customers, our clients, our people coming down for the meet and greet. Come on, man. Like maybe a free $1,000 future bet for everybody who comes. No?
Prez, if I had that kind of pull, man, I would try my best to do whatever I could to get all the wonderful listeners and all the wonderful Wager Talk people something. I mean, listen, I can get you the clubhouse, I can get you drink tickets, I can get you the whole spot and rooms and all that, but, giving away free bets, we're not there yet, my man.
So to summarize, anyone coming down to the meet and greet will have $100 free to bet at the blackjack tables in the Westgate, courtesy of Art DiCesare. Is that correct?
Cash money.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, cash
out
money, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like Randy Moss said, straight cash.
Art, honestly, if I were to ask for anything at all from you guys, it would be a VIP pass so I can skip the line at Starbucks.
Oh, okay. That's not a bad one. I like that.
Yeah. Because that freaking Starbucks line is out of control. Anyway, we love you, brother. Thanks for joining us. Art DiCesare, everyone. Teddy, man, take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Wednesday edition. I want to thank Steve Merrill, Adam Trigger, and Art DiCesare for joining us. I want to thank you guys out there in viewer and listener land for taking time out of your busy day, hanging with us here on WagerTalk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
With football around the corner, time to start building up that bankroll. And we want to help by slashing the cost of all daily picks packages priced at $25 or more, including 5% best bets through the end of July. This amazing promotion runs from Tuesday, July 12th to midnight on Sunday, July 31st, and drops the pricing down to $25 daily packages for $12.50, $29 daily combo packages for $14.50, and $35 5% best bets for $17.50. But even better, this is the perfect time to take advantage of our one-day all-access pass. This package locks in the handicapper of your choice for one whole day for only $39, including when they have a 5% top play that usually sells for $35. But during our 50% slash promotion, you get a one-day all-access for only $19.50. We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not, the premier sports betting information provider in North America. Our special discount pricing goes live on Tuesday, runs through the end of the month, does not require a coupon, and is available just by going to your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo Handicappers homepage right now.